Drowning in rubles, 'cause drowning in debt. Our dear Putin's puppet now says taxes? Yet. So now, Mr. Comey, if FBI smart, a big probe in DT's affairs, you must start. For treason's the reason why DT's so vile, as our banks won't loan him for quite a long while. He stiffed even kids he employed but to sing. A Trump Doral paint job? An H-rally thing? His campaign staff's wages DT wouldn't pay. So how many others does DT betray? He needs to be vetted or he shouldn't run. We don't want our country beneath Putin's gun. Remove him from ballots and GOP too, for they should have vetted DT and his crew. Freeze all of his assets until we can see how much and how long he's been Russia's latchkey. Now I want to explain a couple of things. Drowning in rubles because he's drowning in debt. I got links to show that. I gave them to Joe Bob and I can give them to you. I keep a record of that. It's in my timeline. Taxes yet, of course, today Donald Trump says he won't release his taxes. And it's really important he do that because the taxes show you what deductions he makes, and he's $630 million in debt, so that means he's paying interest. Question is to who? Think about that for a second. If he's paying taxes, which he has to be, he's got deductions, and it's by the deductions that you know what he's doing. And deductions are made on business transactions. Interest is one of them. All kinds of things you get to deduct from your business, so that would tell us something about what business interests he's got. And since he's got so much business with Russia, it's going to be kind of important since this guy's running for president of the United States. He's supposed to be putting his assets in a blind trust. That technically doesn't apply to him until after he gets elected. But, if he's running and he's making nice with Putin, we need to know before to see if we should elect him at all. And obviously the answer is no, we should not vote for this guy. So now, Mr. Comey, if FBI is smart, Comey was the guy who headed the FBI investigation into Clinton's emails. Donald Trump doesn't do email. He doesn't know how to operate a computer. He doesn't know how to operate a smartphone. What we see in Twitter, somebody else is typing. But the FBI can investigate things other than email. And they should. And we're talking about the involvement of a foreign country in the election of a president of the United States, and they're not being secret about it. Now, my guess is, given how Russia has historically operated, that was part of my major in college, that when they move in a positive direction toward somebody, they really mean the opposition to win. And when they move in a negative direction toward somebody, like toward Clinton, they want her to win. It's the way Marxism works. You always do the opposite of what you should be expected to do. It's called thesis, antithesis, and that leads to synthesis, the reaching towards your goal. Okay, treason's the reason. Well, that's why we need to see the tax return. Is he doing anything treasonous that we could find? Because there's a lot to argue he is. Hold on. The reason I say that is because he's already under investigation now for potential tax fraud related to this thing called Bayrock, which is in Trump Soho, which is where the $1 million vet donation went. It allegedly went to a scholarship for veterans that just happens to be handled by the vice chairman of Soho, Trump Soho, which Trump doesn't exactly own. He's got a stake in it. It's got his name on it, but a lot of Russians are involved in it. So maybe we got some kind of at least fraudulent violation of Code Section 501c3 because it's the vet donation thing and it's not being necessarily used as a vet donation. All right? And there's a lot more that's already being investigated about how Bayrock, which is one of the companies involved with the Russians, is structured, particularly with reference to Donald Trump. Because a lot of the structure has to do with saying that his stake in it, his equity stake, is a loan. If it's a loan, then he doesn't owe taxes. If it's an actual equity stake, he does owe taxes. And what the argument's being made by the New York guys is that it's really equity, which makes it look like a loan in order to get out of the taxes, which is fraud. Now, if that's true, then, he goes to jail. But it takes months for that to happen. It'll be after November. So what's going on here? Excuse me, the air conditioning's making me cough. All right. So what's the story here? Well, we don't know. But here's what we do know. Next line. As our banks won't loan him for quite a long while. He hasn't been able to get U.S. bank loans since 2005. And we know that from articles. Like I said, I had links I can give you. When U.S. banks will not loan you money, I mean, if you're really worth $10 billion, they want to loan you money. Because whatever you're going to spend that money on for the loan is going to cover an asset they're going to want to get if you foreclose, if you don't pay. But he has so often stiffed on his loan since 1986